The amateur believes he must first overcome fear. Then he can do his work. The professional knows that fear can never be overcome. He knows there is no such thing as a fearless warrior or a dread-free artist. Stephen Pressfield. Yeah, today's a little different, as you can tell. And there's a reason for that. It's because I came across this quote from Stephen Pressfield. And he separates the amateur and the professional. And I didn't look it up, but I'm pretty sure this quote is from his book, Turning Pro. It might be from The War of Art, two of my favorite books by Stephen Pressfield. Here's what stands out on this quote. And it's what separates so many people so many of our students, it might separate you from amateur and professional. And to be clear, professional doesn't necessarily mean makes a lot of money. And amateur doesn't necessarily mean makes no money. It's what separates the hobby blogger, the hobbyist blogger. It's what separates the person when you visit their website and their last post is dated June 17th, 2018. From somebody who's consistently producing content and producing products. But he points out that the profession, or that the amateur believes that he must first overcome fear. Then he can do his work. As soon as I get past this fear, as soon as I overcome my doubts, then I can go to work. As soon as, whatever, someday I'll. So I think it was Zig Ziglar that talked about this place, this mythical place that people would go to called Someday I'll.
You know anybody who's going to do something just as soon as, or they're half a mind to do such and such a thing? You ever have anybody say, well, wait till the kids get out of school and then I'll really get involved in this project. We got so many things going on right now. Wait till they're out of school. Wait till summertime comes and then I'll really get busy. The kids get out of school, you know what they say then? Well, I didn't realize it, but I got to take the kids somewhere every day. I had more time when they were in school. Wait till they get back in school and then I'll really get busy. Kids get back in school, you know what they say then? Well, for the first time in 19 years, dear old Centralized finally got a winning football team, and you got to support their kids there. Wait after the football season is over, then I'll really get busy. Football season, then you know what they say then? Well, here it is, Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and people don't want to be bothered with this sort of thing this time of year. Wait after the first of the year, man, then I'll really get busy. After the first of the year, you know what they say? Well, it's the weather. Did you ever see weather like this in Chicago or San Francisco or Dallas or wherever? Wait till the weather settles down, and then I'll really get busy. Oh, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I've lost interest in it, but that's not the way I do things. Let me tell you the way I do things. Now, here's the way I am. See, this is just the way I do it. See, the way I do things is I get everything organized. I get it lined up. I have everything in just such and such order. And then, man, once I get it all put together, that's when I really get after it. I mean, that's just the way I've always been that way. Do things that way. I know some of these other folks are hitting me right now, but you just wait. I'll catch them. But this weather, it is just so horrible. Wait till it clears up. And the weather clears up, you know what they say then? Well, here it is. It's Easter time. And Easter time, that's a family time. And we always spend a lot of time together. And you said so yourself. The family is extremely important to you. You do the work for the family, and if you can't spend some time with them, you might as well not do all of the work. I mean, wait till after Easter's over, then I'll really get busy. And then after Easter, you know what they say? At long last, we've got some beautiful weather. And I haven't hit a golf ball or wet a hook in I don't know when. Man, I got to have some R&R. I got to have some rest and relaxation. And you say if you can't work all the time, I mean, an individual needs some time with themselves. Wait till I relax a little bit, and man, then I'll really get after it. And finally, they get after it a little bit, or when they have the fun and relaxation, then they say, well, it's almost time for the kids to get out of school. And that's where we came in. As we'd say down home, folks, you can put this in your pipe and smoke it because it's the truth. The people who wait for Aunt Matilda to move out, or John to get on the day shift, or the new models to come out, or the new mayor to come in, or for the new advertising campaign to get started. The people who wait on the new senator in Washington, or until inflation slows or the rate of interest come down. The people who wait for changes to take place out there before they do the changing in here are flat going to end up getting cooked in the squat. The rule is simple. You do it now. You do it now.
And so the amateur believes that he has to overcome this fear. The amateur believes that he has to get past his doubts. Then I can create my masterpiece. Then I can create my product. Then I can start my blog, start my podcast, start my video channel. As soon as I get over fear, then I can record my first video. He says the professional knows that fear can never be overcome. I'll tell you right now, if I had to get past fear before I recorded my first video, I never would have recorded my first video. No, I did it scared. Scared to death. I did it with doubts. I did it with fear. I did it with insecurity, anxiety. I did it with all of those things inside of me, and yet I still did it. I promoted my first affiliate offer with abject fear of failure. I did it not knowing how my audience was going to respond. I did it so unambitious that I was like, if I can just make $150, if I can sell 2, I'll be so happy. Made $588, sold like 8 or 9, and it set the course to then make hundreds of thousands of dollars. I might be really, really close to $1 million in affiliate commissions now. I'll have to check that because almost all of them have gone through PayPal. I'm kind of curious. Actually, be a really cool thing. I'm gonna have my team kind of look that up and see where we're at because I don't think we're quite there, but we're really close. Here in the last few years, and so the professional knows that fear can never be overcome. He knows there is no such thing as a fearless warrior or a dread-free artist. The professional knows that he'll never overcome this fear. In fact, there's no such thing as a successful person who wasn't fearful when they started doing it. There's no such thing as a successful person who didn't dread what might happen when they put their creativity, their product, their art out into the world. They didn't dread what people might think. It doesn't exist. Like you're going to fear, and that's cool. In fact, I would be a little bit worried if you didn't have a little bit, because maybe this doesn't mean enough to you. Maybe this doesn't mean quite enough to you that it's okay if you fail. If you don't fear failing at something, maybe it just wasn't that important. I don't know. But I caught this quote today, and man, did it hit me hard. Just to remind myself and to remind you. You do the work with fear. You do it scared. You do it with doubt. You do it with anxiety. You do it when you're uncomfortable. You do it when you know what? You do it when you don't even think you can do it. That's not even fear. That's just doing it when you don't even think it's possible. We're talking about entrepreneurship. We're talking about business. We're not talking about life or death. I'm not talking about like, hey, if you're not sure that you can land on the ground properly, don't skydive. If you're 12 years old and don't go get behind the wheel of a car if you're not sure you can drive, like if you're not licensed. That's not what I'm talking about. This isn't life or death. If your blog post flops, so what? If your first affiliate promotion flops, so what? If your 33rd affiliate promotion flops, so what? Do a 34th. Do the work scared. Fear will never, you will never get past it. And that's totally cool. It'll get easier. You'll have a little bit less fear, but there's always going to be doubt. There's always going to be anxiety, and you're always going to question yourself. That's cool. When we created No Product, No Problem, and if you don't know, like, we're in the middle of our big yearly promotion for it. We only open up registration once a year. And just go to noproductnoproblem.com. If you haven't yet, if you haven't joined, come join us. People are flooding in. We want to have you join us. So noproductnoproblem.com. When I first created that course, I doubted that it would have the impact that it has ended up having. I didn't think it would work. That was a healthy fear because it drove me to create the world's best affiliate marketing training. It drove me to give and to give and to give and to pour myself into this course. It drove me to create, we have this thing called the 6-week sprint. And if you get in before, we close registration on June 14th, we have this 6-week sprint where it's 6 weeks. And I pour my heart and soul into those 6 weeks to get people going. Like, I spend an astronomical amount of time during those 6 weeks. And my family knows that. Like, I'm not around as much as I should be for my family during those 6 weeks. And the reason is I want this to succeed. And so that fear that it's not going to live up to what we say it's going to live up to drives me to deliver more for my audience. So it's a healthy fear. When we began our Start Mastermind, I remember going, man, am I going to deliver enough value to these people? They're going to commit to meeting once a week as a group, and I'm going to be on there, and they're going to be on these hot seats. And of course, since then, like, we've delivered, I would say half the members paid for their entire year of Start within the first month in terms of like what they got out of their first hot seat. And probably a quarter of them paid for it within 2 months. And then, a few of them didn't. A few of them, they're just now paying for it after like 5 or 6 months. But 75% of them paid for it within 2 months because we gave them that much value. Why? In part because I wasn't sure that I'd be able to. I've been doing this for 17 years now, and I still have that fear. I still have that doubt, but it drives me to deliver excellence to our customers. I started this podcast scared, but anybody even listen to it? Like, really? We're closing in on 1 million downloads. We'll hit 1 million downloads probably by this fall. Yeah, it worked out. It worked out all right. But I was scared to death to start this podcast. And I did it anyway, because I knew there'd never be such thing as a fearless warrior or a dread-free artist. So thank you, Stephen Pressfield, for that quote. And to you, do it scared. Do it fearfully and make it happen. Just do it. Just do it. Nike had it right. Just do it. So if you know somebody who could use this message today, make sure you share this episode with them and make sure you subscribe yourself. Wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure you subscribe. And and don't forget, if you haven't joined us yet in No Product, No Problem, make sure, go check it out, noproductnoproblem.com. We're closing registration here in just a few days, depending upon when you're listening to this. It might already be closed. If you are after June 14th, sign up for the wait list and we'll let you know when we open it up again. So go check that out. I'll see you inside the course, hopefully, and in the next episode for sure.